637,000. However, a lot of it is restricted for pool, library, or ARPA currently in those funds. You can see the street fund, pretty healthy balance at 336,000, and the other funds that kind of go across there. The other governmental funds, I'll just point out, are on page 62 and 63. There's more information available there. Not going to talk about them here tonight. Page 19 then, you can see the breakouts, the bottom line of the general fund, the street fund, the other two major funds, and those other governmental funds. You can see prior to those transfers from utilities, the general fund had a deficit of about $28,000. So, good, we're about break even or a balanced budget. However, we always got to keep in mind sales tax and those ARPA grants are sitting in revenue, so we haven't spent them yet. So we're not quite balanced yet, but we're working our way towards that. As a community of your size, typically there's got to be some revenue support from utility funds to kind of balance that. We'll work on that a little bit more, why that isn't benchmarking. You can see the street fund decreased $110,000 during the current year, mainly due to some construction items, capital outlay of about $122,000. So then I'm going to flip back to page number 22. This is our enterprise fund, so our water, sewer, trash, and sanitation. You can see overall, operating-wise, they all have positive bottom lines before any interest, sale of assets type of items, or transfers. You can see those transfers down below towards the very bottom. So with that transfer, our electric fund did have a loss effectively of $46,000, but the other one still had positive gains there in that regard. So good there on that side. From there, I'm going to flip all the way back into page 43. Not going to talk on it too much. Page 43 is where we talk about LB 840 and your USDA loans there. So you can see that additional information there. That's obviously a big part of those grants and items that are going on in those funds. Obviously, those things are going to immensely help when we talk benchmarking, when we get to the valuation side of things. It's only going to help on that whole situation. Page 46 is our debt, and we can kind of see where that total debt is. We did pay off one of the bonds during the current year. We still have some GOVT bonds and the library bonds outstanding, but the full bonds were paid off during the current year. Page 47, we also paid off the water GO bonds during the current year as well. So, down to quite a bit less debt than we were. So kind of managing that, but continue to go forward. I'm not going to hit on that too much more, but just kind of, there's more information available there. Page 56 then, just a couple contractual items. Buzz Sanitary, the utility service company, for the annual water tower maintenance, and you guys entered into a contract to purchase the backhoe. As of September 30th, those payments hadn't been made on that backhoe, but we received in October and expected to be paid there shortly after. So just items that impact things but didn't have a monetary effect. And then on page 57, a few items that have happened that you guys have approved as council since you're in. The water well rehab of $71,000, a bid for A&R street construction for $506,000, another IRP loan, and then you guys are approving that property purchase for the proposed community center that will be reimbursed from the Plainview Brunswick Community Foundation. So once again, potentially some additional capital items coming there in that form. In the form of comments and recommendations, we don't really have all that much. The majority of the journal entries there are just normal cash to accrual adjustments, so pretty minimal there. One of the comments and recommendation, and I think that's the only comment recommendation we had, when you were trying to do utility billing tests, the sewer add-on rates is kind of a point in time add-on based on the winter usage average. We weren't able to recreate that report to determine whether or not the winter use was calculating correctly. So just making sure that when we run that winter use to update the new sewer jump to benchmarking?
I have none.
Okay.
I followed it.
So from there, then we're going to jump into benchmarking, and we should have a two-page handout with a bunch of numbers on it. Is the best way to explain it. This is something that we do to kind of help you guys stack up and compare where you fall and why maybe things work your way in your city compared to other cities. So at 1,282 population, you guys are falling in that 1,000 to 3,000 peer group. So, you know, while not always comparable to that 3,000 higher end, we compare this on a per person basis. And so we typically find really what that kind of relates to there. Police, we're right in line with the peer group. You can see we're quite a bit lower than we were at the beginning of this all, but at that $145. Fire, right in line with where we've been in the past. Park with the new $20 number, right in line, significantly lower than the peer group. Pool, $33, right in line, once again lower than that peer group. Handy bus, right in line. Library, just a little bit higher in the current year. They got some ARPA grants and some foundation dollars kicking across that were used for supplies. So, not necessarily that they're spending our property tax more, but just, more grants coming in, and so that kind of skews those numbers up. Nothing else too big to point out here. The very bottom one, that unassigned fund balance, we'd like to be at 30%. We're still negative at -4%, but you can see continuing to improve there in that regard. Flipping into the next page, street cash reserves, you guys are in good shape, and you guys always typically have been there. We typically see kind of those ebb and flows with that new construction project that got approved. We'll probably see some spend down in cash depending on where we fall on the bonding side of things, and that's perfectly fine. We typically see in communities your size, build up to cash of, that 18 to 24 months and spend down to 3 or 4, and build back up, spend down. Number 9, and this is kind of going to play down into the bottom part, our capital assets, we're in pretty good shape on the governmental side of things. Business type, we're starting to get to that age level of, having some older assets, so there could be some major replacement needs coming. Number 10 here, operating incomes, just our suggested rates. You can see kind of where you're falling. You're in really great shape there, but that, once again, you're going to need that operating income likely based on number 9 of having some aging infrastructure assets that are going to need replaced in the short term. You can see debt coverage ratio, anything above 1.5 is extremely good, so you guys are in great shape there. Number 12, and this is kind of where we're trying to get to in that general fund. You can see 425 would be a recommended cash reserve to have on hand. We're still, like I said, upside down about 39,000. You can see where we've progressed from -331 back in 2018, and we're actually -311 last year. So, trying to get to that balanced budget and cash reserve in the general fund so we have some cushion and can kind of have some flexibility as a community is much needed there. And then the business type activities down below, $774,000 cash reserve, more than adequate from an operating standpoint, but due to those aging assets, you can see their expected potential cash need would be about $1.2 million. So, trying to build up some cash reserves there. But there's still a lot of COVID money actually flowing around out there that, we're able to kind of get some significant grant and principal forgiveness matches that will obviously help that out immensely on that aging infrastructure. So that's kind of everything just in a nutshell there. Kind of shows you how you stack up. I think we're continuing to chip away at that deficit. I know Jeremy's excited for, I think, this year because I think he wants to see that positive number. So hopefully we can get there and kind of go from there. Any questions on that?
Good report.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me, and have a good evening.
Thanks,
Thank
Kyle.
you.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.
Good job, Jeremy.
Yeah, thanks, it's Corey.
Yep, a lot better improvement than last year.
Yeah.
Hey, just, what questions I had last year and the year before. Very good.
Okay, we'll go back to number 2 then, approval of minutes from previous meetings.
I don't have anything, so I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from January 10th, 2023.
And then do we have to do 7th?
Seventh.
Yeah.
And then approval meeting minutes from February 7th, 2023 as well.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Okay, Jody.
Aye.
Irene?
Aye.
Tyler?
Aye.
Okay, number 3, claims and payroll. Any questions on anything there?
I already asked them.
Okay, no questions, looking for a motion to pass claims and payroll.
I move to accept funds and payroll as presented.
Second.
I'll second that.
All right. Jody?
Aye.
Maureen?
Aye.
Tyler?
Aye.
Okay, number 4, reports, manner. See anybody here? Yeah. Police chief.
I would say on the minute, I am concerned about the Blue Cross Blue Shield increasing 13.49%. Big jump for them on their insurance.
Oh, man.
Kind of a big jump for them. I think they can handle it, but it just is a big jump.
Yeah. This should be curious what they did before.
Hi, happy Valentine's Day.
Yes.
January was a pretty slow month, thank God. However, February is starting to pick up. So I think January was easy for me because it was knew what February was gonna bring. There's been some activity in town. I'm aware of it. It's been brought to my attention in some properties. I'm not gonna discuss much more, just for safety, security purposes and things that I've got in place. So, if you see anything, call me, take down any information that you can, where it is that you feel is suspicious, and let me know. I guess I don't have much of anything else. I don't have any numbers for you because I just didn't get them printed off, but.
We were sorry to hear about Andrew's mother dying. Andrew
Oh,
Benson's
yes, yep.
mother, apparently sounded sudden.
It was an aneurysm, so
Oh, it's
yeah.
him?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, he's doing better at the academy, which is good. I'm getting a good positive report every week, so let's just hope he keeps moving forward with that.
Does he have to take time off to go to the funeral, or do you know that yet?
No, they're gonna wait till he's done with the academy.
The family is. That's really nice of them.
Yeah. That's something his mom wanted before she passed away, is for him to
Good.
become an officer, and no matter what, she said, you need to do this. So the family got together collectively and made that decision, so
Good to hear.
he's doing well. Any other questions? Alright, cool.
Thanks. Economic development report, I don't see Susan, so we'll bypass that. City superintendent report.
Yeah, it's in your packet. If you have any questions there, we did have a water main break. I don't know if it's on here or not. That might be for this month. That must be next February. The biggest thing is so far, other than what you see there, AWS, which is who has our contract for the new well, or the refurbish of the well, they just finalized pulling the pump and cammering on Friday, so we haven't got the results back. So we are on phase 2, which is good. We will know more when we get the results back on how well the stem is. And then after we know that, then they'll try filling. If it's good, they will go down and they'll fill the clay layer. We'll wait 2 weeks, and then they'll bring in a temporary pump to pump it and actually see if it actually worked for us. So we're getting pretty close.
Nice. All right, thanks, Jeff. City attorney, Bruce, anything right now?
We've got a few items on the agenda. The only brief item of report, I have heard back from the Colby Capital people. They intend to try and comply. They want to talk about what exactly we'd like to see done with their requirements. And I put them off today because I was just booked solid all day, but I'll answer them yet this week and hopefully keep them moving.
Okay.
That's all I have separately.
Okay. Okay, moving on to number 6 then. Discussion, action, resolution number 662, installation of speed limit signs on West Street, south of Highway 20.
And that's in the packet. I think it says what you intended, but check it again. 25-mile-an-hour signs, one for northbound, one for southbound. I left quite a lot of flexibility about where. I guess you'll just have to look at it and put them in a good spot where you can see them.
That's well, and it'll depend on locates and everything, so that's a good thing.
People are still, it'll be interesting, for you to evaluate the 25 mile an hour, because we'll see if they notice it, because they really go zipping by there.
Yeah, and you're right, Corinne, it seems like, you know, when I run my radar, like I said, they're right there at 25, 26, 27 miles per hour. I pulled one person over for doing 35. And it was again that, well, I didn't realize that speed limit was 25. Come on now, you lived here for 30 years. So, you know, and we'll be monitoring it, definitely, so.
Motion to pass resolution 662.
Second.
Jody? Jody?
Aye.
Carleen?
Aye.
Tyler?
Aye.
Okay, number 7, discussion action, resolution number 663, parking regulations north and south side of street, Woodland Avenue, between King and Pine Streets.
Again, that's in the packet, that's a little fuzzier on the definition, be sure it says what you want. On days when school is in session, well,
I think
okay.
that's what we discussed
Yeah,
last time.
eliminate, you don't have to put anything different at summertime, so.
Right.
Right.
We
Right.
don't, cause at summer schools, where is the summer school held at? In the elementary?
Yeah, but the
So-
street's not barricaded. then, so-
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's not like you have this
Yeah.
number of students, so
Yeah.
it shouldn't.
I think it's 4 hours too. I don't
Yeah.
think it's all day, so.
Is that legally enforceable?
It's for the safety of the kids.
You're leaving it up to someone to figure out what day we're having school. I'm just
Well,
curious.
it's kind of,
It's a fairly common practice, but
Yeah.
it's subject to people claiming stupidity, but you'll just have to deal with that.
He gets the point across, gets the job done, that's the point of the matter.
okay, for a motion then on resolution 663.
Make a motion to pass resolution 663.
Second it?
Tyler?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
Jody?
Aye.
Alright. Number 8, discussion action resolution number 664, nuisance property 107 West Locust Avenue, Plainview Pacific Town Site, first, ad block lots 1, 16, 17, 18.
This resolution and the other 3, they're all kind of a standard form thing, just prepared by the office, looking to turn these things over to prosecution. You at this point know more about them than I do.
I'll just come on. Do you guys have any questions about them that were in the packet? I mean, I can go down and explain it each if you'd like.
Well, the procedure, maybe you could tell us.
Probably should. Okay, so, let me get my glasses on. That first, number 8, I don't know if I can say the name of the individuals, can I? I mean, it's public record, right? That's the Ratliff property. When I was talking to Luke, we had a meeting a couple months ago. And when he looked at these photos of the Ratliff property, he said that it didn't appear to be that much of a nuisance, just the piles of stuff that they have in the backyard. He said it looked more like a fire hazard, the house itself did. So he instructed me to reach out to Josh, the fire chief, maybe talk to the fire marshal about the property. So Josh, in fact, did that. The fire marshal's like, well, I'm not gonna get involved in like a city ordinance issue. Josh is like, really, if I look at the property, I can't just by looking at it from the outside say, yes, that's a fire hazard. The inside of the house, I know that there's some issues, but I can't just go in the house and say, okay, your house is a fire hazard. I'm gonna move forward with it being a nuisance property because there are piles of junk in the backyard that need to be removed. So Luke, I think once the snow melts and I continue to take more photos, I'll continue to press Luke about it a little bit to get this stuff cleaned up.
And make sure there that Luke is aware, I mean, there's also the broad definition topic of the condition of this property tends to depreciate the value of surrounding property. So rather than just, there's a pile of sticks, the overall condition is bad enough that it makes the neighborhood poor. That's a factor that can be talked about anyway.
Alright,
And Chrissy, so then do we offer some guidance on how they should do this, or you just say, clean it up? Cause your idea of cleaning mine are probably different.
They are, however, there's the ordinance that states, look, this is why it's a nuisance property, and that will be attached to the letter.
Okay.
We'll give them a certain amount of time based on the stuff that they have on that property.
Okay.
If I think, okay, 15 days is gonna be enough to get those 2 piles of stuff cleaned off your yard,
Mhm.
then you've got 15 days. On that 15th day, if I see that there's progression and they need help, I'm not gonna just say, here you go, get it cleaned up. I might throw some ideas out there.
Mhm.
But if on that 15th day, if I see 1 pile gone and they're working on a second, then I'm gonna maybe work with them a little bit more and give them some more time. If they aren't doing anything, it's going straight to, litigation. It's gonna be a complaint you're gonna have to answer to the judge.
Okay.
So,
In the past, I think we kinda took that approach
Yeah.
and it just, we're good.
You just keep going and going and
Yeah.
going. So is there an issue, does anyone think, about the ability to pay to have the junk moved away? Or get rid of?
yes, there is. However, there wasn't an issue when they brought the junk in.
Right.
Okay.
Might not be when they brought it.
I mean, yeah, I know for a fact that it was, okay, they just didn't take it out to where they needed to take it to. It was easier for them to take it home and then it just kinda like, oh, we're just gonna leave it here.
Yeah.
So, if they have the means to take it to their property, they probably have the means to take it where they should take it, so.
Well, it comes down to, you know, how much stuff is too much stuff.
Right.
I mean, granted, some people's junk is other people's treasures, but
Absolutely.
it's what Bruce said. It's the overall, what does it do to the neighborhood? I mean, and
We have a small house, you can't have a lot of stuff.
right, I mean, it's just the overall look,
Mhm.
even though sometimes things are stacked up nice and look nice, there's just too much of it, I mean, I don't know,
So,
so.
We appreciate you helping those people out.
and I will, I mean, there's certain things that, you know, like maybe we can suggest or,
Mhm.
you know, hey, I wouldn't mind helping you, that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
And then it's not just gonna throw them to the wolves,
Yeah.
but some of these properties have been like
We've
worked
talked
on
about
for years, so
Yeah,
it's time.
yeah.
Yep.
Is there any help that can be provided to them, like, maybe let you, use the dump the facilities for no charge?
And where do you cut off for that?
I don't know,
Yeah,
that's,
we don't
Yeah.
either.
at
So
some
we'll
point,
give them a chance to do it first and then we'll go
you could
from
set a
there.
limit if the city can afford it, if maybe, I just
And there have
suggest.
been situations in the past where, you know, people were unable or unwilling to hire somebody and claimed they couldn't get it done, the city's offered up a dump truck or something, but that's gotta be after discussion starts and things.
Yeah, it's not out of the question.
And
But
you can't do it too excessively or
And we've opened the dump in the past, that 3-day,
Yeah,
and property still didn't get cleaned up,
Exactly.
so.
yeah.
But we'll work with them.
Oh.
I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like I'm gonna say, okay, you know, I mean, if there's gonna be circumstances
We've been through
where,
this for a few years.
I
Just
have
say
no
that
doubt
you've
you're going
opened,
to, just putting it on the record to clarify.
Yeah,
okay,
say that you've opened it one day each year and they could have done it then, I understand that argument, but if you've done it for one day each year, you know, that's pretty much saying that, yeah, you could give them a deal and open it for them, just to get their stuff dumped.
we've always
So,
worked with
but-
people.
But, if you would, Christie, if you would like to, it's up to you, I will absolutely volunteer to do all I can to help clean it up.
Okay.
I got a pickup and a trailer and I got the time.
okay, thank you.
If anybody ever, if there's anything I can do to help anybody ever, I'll do everything I can.
Alright,
Told you that.
yep, you have. Okay, the next,
Do we need to?
oh, I'm sorry,
That's
sorry,
all.
guys.
I'll make a motion to pass resolution 664.
I second.
Okay, Jody,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
all right. Number 9, discussion action resolution number 665, nuisance property 212 North Plum Street. I'll just stay with that.
Barb Fredericks,
Yes.
I do believe it's progressively getting worse. I was by there last week. Her van is completely packed even, and I know that's not on her property, but it's, I know if the van looks like it is, and the house is full too. The backyard looks exactly the same. The front yard is completely garbage. her house is starting to deteriorate, and she's sleeping in her car. So I don't know, years past, I know this has been she's been fined before, and she's taken it to court, but we need to move forward with this property, cause it's been like that for the last 2-3 years.
Cause I understand that it's actually the property of her father
That is correct.
who did help, and so for respect for him, I think we need to help Barb get this cleaned up for his property.
Yeah, we've been down that road.
Yeah.
Well, I spoke to the family. Walt is not doing well. He's on hospice.
Oh, is he?
They did say that they don't want us to stop, but just to give him a little, just let us know, he is on hospice. He is not doing well. So it's gonna be Barb's responsibility probably shortly to take care of this, because it will be willed to her.
And recognize this kind of becomes a downside of the prosecution technique instead of the nuisance cleanup order that we go in and do. Because if they're willing to stand a $500 fine and do nothing, you just have to keep after them, and eventually it would become painful enough. But, you know, the nuisance cleanup order process, cumbersome though it may be, gets you a little more quick action. Now, in the course of a conviction, if it's prosecuted and there's a conviction, the judge can also order cleanup. And so that would be another way to have it work. If you end up with a prosecution, you probably want to remember to have him ask for that, in this case at least, so that you can do something. But from what I've heard of Jody's comment, I don't think Walt's gonna survive the month.
Probably
Not
not the
well at
week.
all. So, certainly ought to try to leave Walt out of it, just under the letter.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not asking that it's taken off. They just want us aware that it's not gonna be Walt's property much longer. It will be willed to her, and it will be her responsibility at that point.
And based on the weather, the snow, I mean,
Yeah.
we can get the resolution, Luke can get me the letters, and again, guys, it's winter time and we've got how much
It's gonna
snow?
be spring before
It's
you
gonna
do
be
anything.
springtime before we're gonna be able to do anything. So that's also gonna buy them some time as well. I just wanna get it moving forward, so that when the time comes, when this snow goes away and we can help them, then we're gonna help them. And I'll work with them, especially considering that, I mean, we're not those kind of people that, I don't care about your family situation, we're gonna work with you on that, so.
You got a lady sleeping in her car
She chooses to.
in this town,
Mm-hmm.
she got no other place to sleep.
She's been fine, we've addressed it with her before.
No,
No heat in
She's
the
her own
house.
person.
Oh, she's got facilities,
yeah, she's
She's
got
choosing to do this,
capability,
though,
She just has a problem.
yeah,
For what it's worth, you know, she went to Foster
yeah.
and bought a property
Mm-hmm.
and started filling it up.
Just full.
And one of the
Mhm.
people from the Foster board just went to her and said, there's no hearing, there's no nothing, that's all going away next week unless you come get it out of here. So they didn't really go with much, but they got it done,
Right,
and she cleaned up the outside anyway. I have no idea what the current status is.
I thought they had passed an ordinance in Foster that nothing on the sidewalk. So that's what they enforced, was their ordinances. We have an ordinance that says nothing on the sidewalk.
she's gainfully employed too. You know,
Yes.
she's not a dumb lady,
No,
And
it's
she's
just,
by
it's
any
just
stretch
a
of the word, but
mental
it is.
problem.
yeah.
So,
Okay, otherwise,
yeah, she's,
I
I would absolutely.
therefore move that we accept resolution,
okay.
pass resolution
Yes.
665.
Second though.
Okay, Jody,
Aye.
Reagan,
Aye.
Tyler?
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to number 10, discussion action resolution 666, nuisance property 214 East Locust Avenue.
That is Don Dasher Jr.'s house. I'm pushing for that to be condemned and take it demolished. However, his sister Beth, we've been talking, she's come into the office several times, she's cleaned up the White House next to the west of it. But I told her, I said, we're gonna move forward with getting rid of this one, cause it needs to come down, and Luke was in agreement with that, he said, absolutely, looking at the foundation, the roof,
It's an old
the front
house.
porch, it's been on fire before, they
Yeah.
saved it from burning, and Luke said, moving forward with this being condemned won't be a problem. However, Beth said, come April, May timeframe, she's gonna do it herself. Okay, I appreciate that, but I still wanna move forward with getting it
Yeah.
done. In case she chooses not to,
Agreed.
this property is bringing possums and raccoons and rats, and people have taken pictures of them, so it definitely needs to be condemned and demolished.
I make a motion to pass resolution 666.
Second.
Tyler,
Aye.
Green,
Aye.
Jody.
Aye.
Okay. Number 11, discussion action resolution 667, nuisance property 406 North 4th Street.
Kevin Rasmussen now owns this property. Did you guys look at the pictures, the photos?
Yes.
Okay, so when I talked to Luke about this one, the foundation, when you walk up to the front of the house, he dug about a 2-foot trench, cause Kevin felt that he could raise the house, move it back, lay down the dirt foundation, and then set the house back down on it to be safe. We were having issues up there. I was in the house. Wes Thorson was in the house. When you step on the floor, you can feel it give because there's nothing in the basement supporting it. There were jacks holding this house up. Well, I told Luke that I wanted this one to come down as well. It needs to be, it's unsafe. And Kevin bought it from Sadie Everhart, and he was going to move a family in as she was wheelchair bound, and I said, don't buy the house because I'm moving forward with getting it condemned and coming down. Well, Luke looked at the pictures and he's like, this one might be a little bit harder to win without a professional coming in or a contractor coming in and saying, yeah, the foundation is garbage, this house is not safe, it should come down. I have talked with the North Fork health inspector, and I sent him pictures and he said, just by looking at it, absolutely. But we would still need that in writing from him, so that if we move forward with it and we present it to the judge, he's got that paperwork saying, yeah, this house is not safe to be lived in.
Yeah.
Cause Kevin still has intentions of renting it out.
Have you talked to him recently?
I have not.
Yeah. That's probably.
But
still-
he knew that I didn't mince words with him.
Yeah.
I made it very clear to him that whatever you tell me, I'm not gonna work with you on this. You knew before you paid for that house that you're wasting your money and time, because I'm gonna move forward with getting this thing to come down.
So yeah, I guess if we move it forward, maybe we'll hear from him.
Absolutely.
Are you asking for permission to get that contractor?
She just needs it written.
From him to come look at it, we'll have to pay him. Pierce,
Yeah.
City of Pierce uses this guy, his name is Adam. They use him for everything. And actually that's who recommended him, was Pierce PD. And I reached out to him, gosh, it was last summer. And I just needed some guidance on how to move forward with this. I didn't know, cause I'm no expert, obviously. And he said, well, this is how we do it, and I don't have that paperwork in front of me, and I'll probably send it out to you guys so you can see how Norfolk does it. But if we could just get him to come in once or twice on a couple properties to give us his recommendation, that's really all I would need. And that's all Luke would need to prosecute. Kevin knows that house is garbage. It needs to come down.
So if we send this to Luke, is his recommendation gonna be to demolish it,
Well,
or how does that work?
he said that one's a fine line. You know, he doesn't wanna waste our money and take it to court and then lose, and now we have to start all over again, get the contractor to come in. Cause yeah, I can go up to that house and say, yeah, I believe that that's unsafe, you could, and the judge is like, well, what are your credentials? Who are you and what is your, expertise in this field? So, I mean, if you, Bruce, have,
So the toughie there is, you know, are you gonna write him a letter and give him an opportunity to recover? I mean, he'll go in and do $200 worth of work and say, okay, it's good now. Maybe you should wait until you have the inspector before you do the formal procedure. And then if the guy kind of says not salvageable, well, then you got something to go on. Then you can say demolish. I mean, if you You think he'll come fairly promptly if you try and hire him?
With the snow right now, probably not, I would think maybe, cause it's buried. You know, do we go in there and dig the snow out, or, I mean,
Did I hear you say that he was planning to rent to a wheelchair-bound person?
he had it, well, she died.
Well, it's probably, I don't think she could get up the front yard to get in there in the first place. It's certainly not handicap accessible.
No, it's not. He had a ramp over the trench to go in the front door, and they were actually moving in the process, and then she passed away. But, I guess that's a good question. I don't know that getting a contractor up there now to look at it, I mean, you could go in the house, I guess, and,
No, if you're talking about him looking inside,
yeah.
is there a crawl space or a basement, or there must be a basement or something?
There's a basement, but the
So we
windows are not there, and there's a window out the back.
You need something to move soon, either do the inspector
Yeah.
or do a letter and tell him, you know, you can work on this if you want, but we're calling an inspector and we think you're wasting your
I
time.
think we better just call this back.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
We might as well get somebody that knows what they're they has the authority to say it's
I
bad.
mean, I know if we all went out there and looked at it, we'd be like, yeah, the house is
Yeah.
bad,
You
but
can right by it and see it.
It's
Inspector
been bad
and
for
the
a long
official.
time, it's not recent.
no.
So,
You can pass it, though, I think, it's still getting
We
inspected.
can pass it,
You
yeah,
can
'cause-
inspector.
And that would be our next move.
yeah.
That's how he deems fit, your legal counsel, if he says that's what you should have to prosecute, that's what you have to prosecute.
How you
Inspector.
proceed is still a separate question.
What's that?
How you
Yeah.
proceed from here is still a separate question.
Yeah, that's how,
Get it defined anyway, that it's currently a problem.
yeah,
Right.
that's a Luke question.
Sure, I can ask that, so, only thing Luke is waiting on is just resolution so that we can move forward on this project.
Resolution passed 667.
second it,
Okay, Ernie,
aye.
Tyler,
Aye.
Jody?
Aye.
Okay, so then you'll talk to Luke about
Yep.
that.
I will,
Great,
definitely.
thank you.
Alright, thanks guys.
Thanks, Christie.
Guys, gals.
Thank you.
Okay, number 12, discussion action, advertise to accept bids for haying of lagoons.
We just do this every year, obviously, for the hay around there.
Make a motion to start advertising to accept bids for the haying of the lagoons.
Double second.
All right, Jody,
Aye.
Ernie,
Aye.
Tyler?
Aye.
Hopefully we get some rain and actually have some lagoon hay, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
Number 13, discussion action, approval of 20 DTR 005 drawdown. Number 13, or is that number 13? Is that $1,169.63?
These are just admin fees from, for the January, December, January admin fees.
Make a motion to approve 20-DTR-005 drawdown number 13 for $1,169.63.
Second it,
All right, Tyler,
Aye.
Jody,
Aye.
Ernie?
aye.
Okay. Number 14, discussion action, ACE membership distribution funds, 2022, the amount of $4,114.
This comes from the amount of, people who choose ACE for the volume of gas and for us attending meetings and governing the body, so, yeah, obviously this year, about a little over $4,000. The Parks Board would like to update picnic tables around town, so we'd like to start with this in the packet. They match the green ones, I don't know what color we'll choose, but this is the same style as what's the new ones down at the Band Shell Park. So they'd like to know if they could utilize that money to purchase for.
Are they gonna add up the rest? And else I don't know how to multiply by 4, they're a little short.
It's budgeted to pay for the rest from
So
the
the
parks.
parks would pay the rest
Yep.
for the fourth, because it should come to 4,720.
Yep, we're aware of that.
Okay.
It doesn't. So,
Good.
unless someone wants to put it somewhere else, that's.
So we need a motion on that?
A motion to approve the ACE member distribution funds 2022 for $4,114 to purchase 8-foot picnic tables. Times 4.
We'll have a big check for you, you can take a picture with too, Bob.
I'm looking forward to that. Got a second on that?
I'll second it.
Jody,
Aye.
Ernie,
Aye.
Tyler?
Aye.
Okay. Number 15, discussion action advertise for part-time police officer.
I should've just stayed up
You should settle.
Just stayed right up here.
Move the podium.
Too old and fat and been doing this much walking.
Move the podium over.
Right. Alright, so I've got a couple in mind. I've been kinda harping Wes. You guys know Wes Orson, he works for, Pierce County. Come on over, give me a couple days off in the month, that'd be awesome. I have another one in mind, his name is Ron Westlake. He just moved to Foster. He is a 20-year veteran of the Air Force, but he also was working part-time in Antelope County as a deputy, and then he worked for Neely PD for a few years, and he just recently left, on whatever terms over there from Antelope County. But Ron would not want a whole lot of hours. I just want 4 or 5 days off a month. So that's really kind of all I'm looking for out of Wes too. Wes is up here quite often, so I'm still kind of pushing with him, like, come on over, Wes, help me out. I haven't really dug my heels in to kind of get him to come, because I wanted to make sure that it was okay with you guys if I could get somebody to come in and help me out a little bit. Dan is part-time here, but the reason I want the part-time officer so I can spend some time with my family. And if he's working on the days that I'm working, I won't get to see him, so, I've got the 2 in mind, and with you guys' approval.
Are you planning on keeping it, so when Andrew gets back, would they still stay on?
I'll keep him on the roster just in case. You know, there might come a time where Andrew and I both if something comes up where we both need time off.
Be nice to have somebody experienced to sit in.
Yeah, and they're already certified, so it's not like we have to go to the academy or anything.
Do we have that in the budget?
We'll make it work.
Talking about a fellow that was working law enforcement and just recently left there.
I am.
Do you know why he left there though? Certainly.
I do. I choose not to share that because it's not my story to tell, and there's 2 sides to every story.
I always said 3, yours, mine, and the truth, but
Yeah.
I get your meaning, but,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
I'd sure like to know who you hired, why they left their previous law enforcement job. You go
Is
hire them.
is there a wage set for part-time
I don't think that's,
Oh, we can talk about that when they,
when they accept?
Yeah.
'cause she'll
Okay.
wanna interview them and she might negotiate or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Based on their experience and,
Figure it out next.
yeah.
And you have your own policy, little things that you follow anyways.
Sounds
quit
good.
or just dismissed.
I left on something.
All right,
Yep, I'll make a motion to advertise for a part-time police officer.
I second.
All right.
Aye.
Reed,
Are we saying officer or officer? Is that
Officer.
technicality? I know, but
Just one.
Yes.
do we want two?
Just one.
Well, you might wanna go with officers plural, because literally you might have hired 3 guys and they might only work 1 day each
Yeah.
month.
That's
I forgot to mention, Mike Saney's still on my roster, by the way, as a reserve officer. I think the last time he was used was in 2019. Academy just reached out to me and said, hey, is Mike Saney still on your roster? If not, we need to do a employment change of status for him. Well, I would use Mike, but he's spending a lot of time over helping out Neely and Antelope County, because they're short staffed as well, so, I'm gonna leave Mike on the roster if you, just because I am. I mean,
Yeah,
he might be a
for
go-to
maintenance.
as well, so.
Might be an emergency
Yeah.
situation.
Okay, number 16.
Did you get a second to vote?
I seconded.
Are we voted?
Did you vote?
I'm gonna vote for, I did. I'm gonna vote for officers plural, yes.
Okay, we're voting on officers plural.
Aye.
Tyler?
Aye.
Okay, officers. Number 16, discussion action, updates City of Plainview personnel manual, wage and hourly policy.
So this is something, we're gonna see this for a while now. Essentially, we're just gonna start going through our handbook. There just needs to be a lot of updates. It's dated, and honestly, it doesn't make a lot of sense when I read it or when our personnel committee reads it. Thank you to Tyler, Kareem, and Bob. We did a ton of revision multiple times, and this is what we came up with. So we think it's a lot clearer, and it pertains a lot more towards how we operate.
I take it you recognize this is office and personnel committee business. I haven't reviewed it, I haven't been asked to review it. I'm not gonna demand to review it.
I thought you said you were gonna
If
take it
you're
to
happy with
We
it,
did get it. we
You
got
did
a
get
packet,
it.
yeah.
Well, we've got it, but I have no idea what you're thinking or what you're changing or why you're doing anything, so I.
Did he not get the original and the changes?
Yes. Here's everything you got.
Oh, it's here, what's your question?
What's your question?
My point is, I know nothing about this and I haven't looked at it. That's all I want you to know.
Okay.
He's just making a statement that he didn't,
Okay.
he didn't,
I thought you were
He
just
wasn't
do
asked to
something.
be in on it when you changed it,
And
that's
that's
why I
all.
didn't
okay
think
with,
he
and
had
that's
to be.
okay with me.
yeah.
Just a statement.
Okay.
And we really didn't change a whole lot of things, more clarified a lot of things.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Just
So,
wording.
Yep.
Some things were in there that should have been in a different part of the manual.
Yep.
And I understand why you did, it's 6.5 pages down to 2.5, so it probably would have taken you a little time.
You should have invited him to the meeting.
You should have.
Then,
Yeah.
See what he got a kick out of it.
I think you'll like it though.
Everybody get a chance to read it over?
Yeah.
He didn't.
Well,
He's not
he's
voting.
not voting,
No.
so.
I make a motion to approve the updates for the City of Plainview Personnel Manual Wage and Hourly Policy.
Okay. Second?
I'll second it. Well, because
I
we're
mean,
both
yeah.
on the committee, so I didn't know if we could.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, Tyler? Green?
yes.
Jody?
Aye.
All right. Number 17, discussion action dismissal of previously appointed sex offender committee.
And this really just came about because we have a lot of people who I've been told that our council gets approached about this sex offender committee. And we need it off there because I don't know who they are or what it is before my time. And I think after talking with Chris and everything, we've pretty much done everything to the extent of the law that we can. So,
All I could find in meeting minutes was when it was talked about and there was gonna be a committee, but we never had names in the minutes, so I have no
Right.
idea who was even on the committee, and that's
Yeah,
the
it was-
fact.
It was just
Actually, a whole
talked
year.
about,
It
yeah,
was 2
we
years
had an
ago, 3
incident.
years ago.
Yeah, we had an incident.
Julie Brookhouser was on, I believe.
Tyler Wells was on it too, he
There you
told me
go.
that, and he said he tried shutting that down right away,
Yeah,
so.
Yes.
And for what it's worth, I mean, this was when the mayor and council were having difficulty getting the stories and the reports of such things, and there was a lot of activity that was concerning, so they just decided to have a committee to study it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're getting it handled in the normal channels, then just as well do away with it.
This is more a cleanup thing, isn't it?
Yeah, just a dispute.
What were they handling?
They were just
I'll
supposed to
make a
take
motion
reports
to
and
dismissal
investigate
previously appointed
what's
sex offender
otherwise
committee.
happening,
I'll second
and
it.
then report back
Okay,
to the
Jody?
Aye.
Green?
city.
Aye.
Tyler? All right, moving on to number 18, discussion action updates to resolution regarding closure of Woodland Avenue between schools.
This is something that we brought up. It's, yet again, going through policies and things. What the resolution says is not how we operate. If you go through there, it says that the police will put up all the barricades and they have to put them in the intersections, and obviously if anybody goes to school now, the school handles it, they put them closer together, right where the kids are walking across. I did email Darren about it, let him know. He said, I appreciate it. I told him it's gonna be hopefully just a cleanup process, and he said he's satisfied, so.
I mean, no,
Sorry, I said it under-
no, fine, I was like, man,
Sorry.
here I come, I'm just slow. We were looking at it, just kinda clean that thing, and it says that police department is supposed to put them in place and take them down. Well, I mean, that's all fine and good.
Or agents authorized by authority of the chief of police, and it's always been the school people, hasn't it?
No, so it used to be Bruce used to do it.
What?
It used to be Bruce used to do it every morning.
And I would like to
I
appoint,
have no idea.
yeah, Bruce did do that,
Yeah,
Yeah, he usually sat out there long ago, yeah, or at least when I was going to school.
yeah, so, I mean, it's not that I don't want to, it's just that I don't always have time to,
you shouldn't have to, yeah.
and,
Well, number 2 says it's just, will be placing the barricade, so school wants it, I don't think it's gonna be an issue of not being put up. And everybody kinda knows what it is about.
and where they're supposed to be
Yeah.
placed is on the corner of,
Yeah, a little further
the,
away,
right, on the corners of the high school.
yeah.
And they're much closer, which I like better anyway, just for the simple fact that there's more parking available for whoever needs to get up there, so.
So are you looking to change words tonight, or?
Yeah, we just wanted you to look at it. Yeah, if the barricades move, we'll have to change some wording in there to make it how we operate. So we just were going to look at tonight, and then we can always bring it back.
And why was it put on the police department? Just curious, cause the street's being closed, or I mean,
I have
no
as
idea.
long
The
as,
school wanted it, correct?
Well, you can't delegate creation of law to the janitor at the school. So we had to say something about the city will approve it, the police will approve it.
I understand that part of it, but it says the police department will place the barricades.
Or an
Or
agent.
your
Or an agent,
Authorized.
and did they authorize the school? I don't know.
I
Yeah,
have no
they
idea,
did
I
authorize
thought they
the
always just told the janitor, go ahead and put up your barricade.
Gail did usually in the mornings, he does.
Yeah,
Bunky used to do it all the time.
What are you
when he was
doing?
there.
I'm not saying I'm above it, I'll go do it if I had time. Sure,
well, you don't
I've
want-
offered a few
yeah,
times.
but you don't wanna do it.
You can't get a day off, what are you gonna do with barricades?
You know what? Is that a loaded question?
so,
I mean, okay,
you know, it makes it easy. If you ever watch them, they take care of them after the end of
Yeah.
the day, they
Yeah.
move them, so.
Routine.
if
I
we
mean,
make it
I
just-
think it's fine as it's written, because it says, or their agents as authorized by verbal or written authority of the chief of police. I mean, I don't see any
Well, because it
problem
says,
with it.
the placement of barricades shall be only by the but it's, or then she has to, do you have to write down who you dictate to and all that?
I don't dictate.
Just- it's
I
a
just
mess.
ask, but
And they're already doing it.
That part's fine, but
Yeah.
it's the
it's the
placement.
placement of them, because right now they're not at the corners anymore.
Oh, so
So
we
that
can
doesn't
change
follow
that
it.
wording.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of like in between the parking spots, you know, the.
So we need to just
Right.
change it to the wording to say at the corners of the high school?
Well, they're already there. They're already on the corners of.
Right, but
They're supposed to be, but they need, the way that they have them, just placed by the school as they deem necessary. I mean, they could put them where they want to, within the
Just block.
block.
I recognize that number one says the signs go at the intersections. The
oh, the
barricade,
sign's indicating
the
the closure.
closure is indicated by the placement of the barricades, wherever they damn well please.
I wish it.
But if you want it to be reworded, fine, come up with some language you're happy with and we'll get it retyped.
Do you know off the top of your head what happens to them if they somebody does go through there? According to that,
Well, if somebody runs it, we want it to have at least some teeth that this is a city authorized
Mhm,
process and so it's a crime and you can be ticketed and fined.
exactly.
I mean, that's the whole idea, is to have some, if you just gave the school the right to put up barricades, well,
yeah.
but this is a traffic regulation
Mhm.
that is arguably enforceable.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
If you think it fits fine, Bruce, we just read it and, yeah,
Well,
I think it meets all the
Number three,
criteria.
you'll have to
I'm
change
just gonna
the
go from
times.
Go from the top.
Number three has to change the
Signs
times.
at the intersections is number one.
Right, are there any
Closure
signs
is
that get
in-
put up?
Number two is
Okay,
closure is indicated by placing barricades to block traffic on Woodland Avenue. Doesn't say where.
Mhm.
and then
Mm,
the
yeah.
closures
And-
from 7:45 to 4.
Which would need to
So that's good.
probably.
That's changed from 7 to 5 according to our last.
Or other
memo.
times
7 to
during
5.
activities
That's
at
the
either
parking.
school.
No parking.
And or the one that you just passed is
For-
5, I believe,
Right,
isn't it?
7 to 5, right?
But when do they pull them? Don't they pull them as soon as the buses are gone?
They
Well,
do.
you'd want it to say 7:45 to 4, because when you're having basketball games and
Yeah.
such, you wanna be able to park there.
Yeah, or other times when needed during
Right.
activities. You know, they can barely if need be.
They're in place before 7:45 though.
Could be.
Sometimes, so.
Well, if you wanna fiddle
I mean,
with
I
it,
don't-
rewrite it a little bit, there's no
Always
big
brought it up to
deal.
discuss it, yeah, and if it's great, fantastic.
Well, make it so that, we're comfortable with it,
I mean,
giving orders.
I was thinking like, I read that, I must have misinterpreted that, the signs,
Number one, yeah.
right? Signs indicating, so. And the intersection, yeah, and the signs are there.
Well, you don't need action tonight, if you wanna, just have a general understanding that it'll be talked about, there may be a change coming next month, if you decide you want
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
There's no harm in rewording it some if it's not clear.
Okay, do you have a motion?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, talk about it next time.
Moving on to number 19 then, discussion action, updates to the Keno grant application.
And this is just, again, we're going through trying to clean up some things, hasn't looked at for a few years. We're not looking for any action tonight. If you want something to be in there, if you want something out of there, it's entirely up to you guys.
So I asked Courtney about the quarterly. Some people thought maybe as we get the requests at a council meeting, we could approve or disapprove. But she needs to do things from the state on a quarterly basis, right? So that would make her life and probably the state happier if we left it at quarterly.
It's been working fine too. So.
And but the second paragraph says to me it says it's for the youth, but we don't just give it to the youth. Is that how you guys read it or not?
Will be given priority.
Priority.
Yeah, I
The
think
concept behind this program will be to foster community pride and create opportunity to youth who are looking for improvements in the community. Well, there's other people besides the youth that look for improvements in the community.
Yeah, I think it's for community growth, and then if anything, for like municipality as well, is usually what it's.
I just want to take, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't get, I'm saying it should not be restricted to just youth.
I don't think it is restricted, it's community pride and opportunity for you.
I think the word "and" in there.
Well, then
may
maybe
be-
it's for youth, because two youth sounds like that.
This is kinda like your Woodland Avenue ordinance.
That's-
If you wanna clarify it, prepare some language you think is a little better, and we'll do that.
Yeah, that's why it's for.
Well, and we have not had a maximum amount requested, it'll only be $1,000. Have we? Have we limited people to only $1,000 request?
No.
Yeah, it's up to
No,
you
I
guys.
think that's clearly wrong, the way you've been running it.
Thank you.
Oh,
So I guess we're gonna talk about this one next time too, right?
Sure.
Yes?
yeah.
Well, the
Sounds
Keno
like we better.
applications have always been a bit fuzzy, it sure wouldn't hurt to lay this out a little better.
Okay.
We did find in some old meeting minutes from 2010, that the council voted that it was a 6-month, like from the time you got approved, you had 6 months to get your reimbursement for your Keno, so you don't have funds sitting out there for a year waiting to get paid out, so you should know that you're gonna get your money, I mean, we shouldn't have to hang on to money for a whole year, once you request it, you should have 6 months to collect
Get to
it.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something that can be added to your application, so people are aware of that.
Might not hurt if you're gonna talk it over, you could just pull the statutes on Keno. So I mean, some of this is based on the requirements of the Keno statute, but some of it is very much discretionary too, and I can't tell you letter and verse what's what without pulling it. They might, unlike medicine, which is simple, they change the law every year, so you gotta keep
Yeah.
looking it up.
Yeah.
So you're gonna look at the statutes and report back to us?
Well, I can pull the Keno statute and get
I
it
can
to
send it.
Jeremy or get it to
Okay.
somebody, but that will indicate to you what of this is kind of mandatory and what is discretionary.
Okay,
I would say most of it's kind of discretionary from what I've read. A lot of it's, like I said, mostly for the community and except for politics is really what it's not meant for, but, we can send it out to you in email.
are we having a discussion about this, or are we just gonna think about it? Are you gonna call for a meeting?
What?
When are we going to discuss this? After Bruce brings it,
Bruce said, look it up, they'll send it to us.
and you're all
and
gonna
then
bring your
we'll forward
ideas
it
when
out.
we come back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come with some proposals next month.
Craft it next month.
Okay,
Be there.
bring your notes.
Okay.
We enjoy your company.
I guess
We'll wait till
we're moving on.
You wanna have a group meeting?
Moving on to number 20, discussion league model ordinances.
Oh, boy.
This is
That's
something
you, Bruce.
I like to-
Y'all read all those?
I'm
Yeah.
giving that right on over to you.
There are two in the mix that are rather general, one about animals, one about trespassing. The rest of them, just from an overview standpoint, are all conform conforming Plainview city code to the new state law for budgeting and reports and treasurer and this and that. All of those that are budgeting and reports and treasurer and must follow the state law, if you're gonna have anything in your code book, you pretty much need to have that. So unless Courtney has read some of them and has a problem with them, I think as we go through them, that's kind of the quick analysis of the budget, treasurer, and report thing is, you gotta do this. Either that or you have nothing in your city code and you just go by the state statute. But it's kinda nice to have it in the city code and have it for reference. So with that said up front, if you look at, and I think, Courtney and I had a little discussion about what the numbers were and what had happened, but I think we have her number one now that came to you guys, starts at the top, property tax levy,
Yeah.
authority to spend. That's one of those that is the change of fiscal policy law by the state. I think you have little choice. If you want your code to be correct, you need to pass that. So I would say that's a yes, if you will. And remember, the way we've done this in the past is pick those out that you're sure you want, and then I'll go through the code book, find a place to put them that makes sense, and maybe something that says, and repeal the old one if it's a direct contradiction. So it's kind of clean by the time you're ready to vote on it. But just tonight, guidance on which ones you're gonna do. So that's probably a yes, Courtney's number one. The number two is how to adopt budget statements, timing to file it, harmonize with state law, same thing. I mean, that's a financial requirements of the state, I would think we need to do that. Number three is the animal one. Animal abandonment and neglect. It wouldn't change much of the city code, we've got some of that. They're adding the thing you see at the middle of the second page, enforcement powers and immunity. It shall be the duty of law enforcement who believes an animal has been abandoned or cruelly neglected to make a prompt investigation. So you gotta, prioritize going out to check on somebody's cat. But I guess it doesn't hurt to say that, that's what the state law says now. I mean, it was some animal rights folks that wanted to protect abused animals that added this to the program. I don't think it's a bad provision. You wouldn't wanna overdo this question of what is prompt investigation. We don't have people having to break in and check on abused dogs in Plainview very often, but it's probably an okay ordinance. You wanna call it a yes?
Yes.
Get it ready to go, at least. You still gotta vote on.
We might have a police dog one day, you never know.
Heck,
I got one at the house.
No.
We'll cover you.
the next one, Courtney's number 4. There are trespass laws in the state statutes and in Plainview now. I think their intention there is because of the vandalism that has happened to transformers and such, they've added on, notice they bolded it here, public power infrastructure facility is a trespass against the public and we can prosecute you for that. That's probably okay. I mean, I certainly don't need any outbreak of people damaging transformers. So again, probably a yes.
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 And then, as you go on from there, number 5 is minutes and how you keep them. That's it adds the possibility of electronic records. I would think wanting to go to fully electronic minutes is probably not Plainview yet, but you can still keep paper minutes too. It just allows for the possibility. I guess if you keep a file on the computer, you can say there's some minutes in the file, but the paper minutes are probably still gonna be the deal for Plainview, largely. But no harm, huh? So
No harm.
probably
So yes.
again,
Yeah.
yes. And then that's true all the way down. For Courtney 6, talk about property tax levies and increases and when they can be done and notices and how you have to do them. Yeah, if that's the law and the details, I think you need to do that. 7, budgets, when you prepare the proposed budget, when you file it, how it goes, same story. It's financial management requirements according to state law, the yes.
Yes.
8 is also more on budget statements, same deal, I don't think you really have a choice. You gotta do what the state law says. This would bring the code up to snuff. And number 9, the business of harmonizing with state law on recall petitions. That too, and these folks are not the best at describing to us exactly what sentence they changed. I mean, I have not spent hours doing word by word to try and find what sentence they changed, I'll give you that. But again, if this is the current version of recall procedures, that's what you need. And number 10, updating stuff on sale of real property. That certainly is something we run into all the time, and you need to do it. They added that a sale must conform to the statute number 32-628. If there's a remonstrance, it must conform to that. Quite frankly, I didn't even go look at it. I mean, that's what the new state law says. If you're gonna have a remonstrance, you have to conform to that. Okay, I don't think we've ever had a remonstrance in the 50 times that Plainview has sold a little piece of property. It's not impossible, but you just as well say, sure, conform to state law.
I missed that word, what does remonstrance mean?
They are supposed, if you do what we have done here in the past and pass a resolution, we're thinking of selling this piece of property. If people get up essentially a petition against it and get enough people to sign it says, don't do it, we don't want the city to sell this, then the code says it shall not be sold or brought back up for at least another year. It just takes it off the book if they file such a thing.
Okay.
That's pretty unlikely, but it's possible.
Okay.
You know, I think they passed it, for instance, for places in the city. Well, that crummy little park out there, we don't need that, there's not many people use that park. But the people that live around it like having their park, and so they protest getting rid of it or something like that. But we've never had much of a problem with it. Mostly when you've got property to sell, it's some vacant lot that you tore a house off or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
So all the way down the line, I think you probably need to consider all of them. I mean, if you're thinking the same way, I will get this numbered and check the business of what do we need to repeal, and they'll be back to you next week or next month. Okay, good?
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yep. Got your work cut out for you.
Well, that doesn't take too long, but it does take paying attention. You don't want 2 or 3 things in your code book that are all contradictory, so you need to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, good.
Number 21, council comments. Anybody got anything? Ready?
Nope.
Before we adjourn, I've agreed to let Billy Ray make some comments in a span of 5 minutes that he's agreed to. And also, before he starts, just yesterday and today, Jeremy and Courtney and I have been talking, we're going to, in the future, we're going to add public comments to the agenda, that there will be parameters, what those comments will be, and when people comment to the council, there will be no back and forth discussion. It'll be what your comments are, and then we're done. So having said that, we got 5 minutes.
How many minutes are we gonna be allowed? 3?
Five.
The future ones?
5.
Are we at 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
We gotta figure it out, Jeremy's gonna work on that.
That's
As
what
far as tonight, though, I
I
told Billy Ray 5 minutes, and then, so,
I appreciate that you finally recognize, my right to speak. And next month, we can talk about, proper, on paper, procedural allowances. And, things like that, whether you're gonna want people to identify themselves at the time they get to speaking. And, I appreciate you being willing to consider accommodating civil rights as they're protected under the First Amendment. And that's all I have to say.
Oh, yeah, all right, good enough.
But, just to let you folks know, if there's ever been anything I can do for anybody in town, you can always
Yeah,
call
that's
me.
good enough, thank you for that.
And did you I ask you what, happened with the light that was on the shelf down there at the city office? We talked about, the city office, did it happen to, that light happen to work at on the light pole for the park?
Nope,
Won't work?
didn't put it up.
Did they check to see if that had worked?
Nope.
I would tell the light poles in the city park and the band shell was addressed at the last Legion meeting. Both have been taken care of. The city park is illuminated, and we have gone to the city and asked for a new light for the band, for the baseball field.
Really? And so the flag in the park is gonna be took care of?
It's illuminated by the street light that's there.
Well, and it's illuminated well enough that you aren't even gonna check and see if the light you got on the shelf that nobody knows what it's for?
It's
They
illuminated.
They figure out what that light's for? That they
I
already
don't know
bought
about
sitting
that
on the
light.
shelf?
I just know that
And
we
the
addressed
NPPD
it.
put it up for free if it'll work. Why wouldn't you use
Do
it
you have
if
a
it
motion
worked?
to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Why wouldn't you use it why wouldn't you use that light that you got
Motion to.
if it'll work?
All in favor?
They'll do it for free. I'm asking you a damn question, answer me!
What did I just say?
My 5 minutes up?
Yep.
What did I just say before?
You sons of bitches.
We're not going back and forth on discussion, especially ones we've already had.
Why the hell wouldn't you use it if you got it? Why not even ask them if it'll work? Will it work for something else? Is it for something?
You also
If it's
gotta
for
be
something, then
sensible.
say so.
You also gotta be sensible in your discussion too.
I do. You got that wrote down that I gotta be sensible? Who gets to decide what's sensible? Goddamn idiot. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, not yelling, swearing, that'd be part of it.
You got a decibel meter? You wanna check and speak how loud I'm talking? If I was wrong, I'd be in handcuffs. Why the hell won't you gonna check and see if the light will work? Why won't you check and see if it'll work? If they'll hang it for free, the power costs you nothing.
We've already had.
Why won't you do it? Why won't you do it? Why won't you do it? You won't even answer the simple question. Is it for something? That's fine. Just say so.
This is why you don't get to speak.
Because I ask questions that make sense.
No, because